You wake up, your head still fuzzy from the night before. It's nice to disregard your royal duties every once in a while and let loose, but not when it's going to leave you with such a killer migraine. The last thing you remember is feeling strange and asking a servant to bring you back to your room. And now, looking around you, you're beginning to realize the room you're in is not yours. Perhaps not even a room in the castle. You have no clue where you are. Stumbling a bit, you get out of the not-so-comfortable bed you were in. The sheets you notice are tattered and quite faded. Sad-looking, you think to yourself. The room itself is also depressing. Broken furniture, dull stone walls. You make your way to the door to try and leave, locked from the outside. Not much of a surprise, but still upsetting. All the windows seem to be blocked in some way or another, and you're way too high up to even think about jumping if you want to survive, so that's out of the question. All you can do now is wait and hope that your knight in shining armor comes to save you. And finally, after what felt like forever, Princess, thank heavens I found you. I knew you'd be here. I rushed over on horseback as soon as I heard. Apparently the scummy wizard has been bombarding the king and queen for money ever since the crown was handed down to them. They cut him off for royal funds or acts relating to necromancy, which dragged you into this. He was planning to put a price on your life as ransom, just so he could continue his nefarious experiments. Wait, he didn't hurt you, did he? He didn't? Oh, good. No need to get too worked up about it. Oh, thank you, Princess. I probably should sit down, get to explaining. We don't have anyone to worry about anymore, so we can take our time. I'm sure you heard me taking care of it down the steps. The rest of the guard should be here soon. Yes, I came alone, Princess. No, I didn't get permission, but how could I? I left as soon as I figured out what was going on. It's my fault after all. I allowed this to happen. I know it was one of my few days off a year, but I'm your personal guard. It's hard to just stop looking after you. It's hard to not care about your safety even after it becomes your job. Honestly, I think I'd care this heavily about you even if it wasn't. Anyways, I'm sure you're still confused. What's the last thing you remember? Getting dizzy at the banquet and then waking up here? No one's talked to you since? Okay, well, that's good to hear. I'm sure the wizard let his goonies know you were precious merchandise, not to be toyed with. After the party, you were nowhere to be found, and a carriage was spotted fleeing the scene. Afterwards, the guard was alerted to get together a search party, and that's how I found out. Based on how you seemed to magically vanish from the banquet, and the recent history of that wizard, I figured you'd be taken here. This is his secondary tower. You tend to keep an eye on these things, especially when he's cut off from royal funds. It's only been about 2 days since then. It's about a day and a half ride here if you're alone. Like I said, the rest of them should be here later this evening. It's about 2 days if you're bringing all those supplies. You know, now that you say that, Princess, it is starting to hit me. I have been up for nearly 2 days. But, again, how could I sleep at night knowing you were in danger? I didn't even feel tired until right about now. I finally know you're safe. It's hitting me all at once. I'm sorry you had to go through this. I'm glad we can talk and relax now. What was that? A nice break from the monotony? Oh my goodness. I envy you. Able to crack jokes at a time like this. I'm glad this situation hasn't shaken you up too much. But then again, you have a notorious reputation for being hard to fluster. Princess without a heart. That was the name all your batches gave you, right? I never got it, though. You're always so sweet to your servants and others, at least when I'm around. It's one of the many things I admire about you. You have a lot more heart than all those greedy suitors anyways, that's for sure. Of course, I like hearing little rumors about you, just to see what others think of you. I find it interesting since I know so much. What do I think of them? Well, most of them are just silly rumors on who you'll end up marrying. It's nice to always know those aren't true. I'd be the first to know about something like that, wouldn't I, Princess? That's what I thought. Oh, I do like the one name you're called. What is it? Gem of the West. That's what it is. Come on, you seriously haven't heard people call you that? Most beautiful princess on the western coast, not to mention the land and wealth you're set to inherit after you're crowned queen. Princes from halfway across the world are scrambling to try and marry you. I'm jealous. No, nothing, Your Highness. Honestly, though, I think you'd do a lot better without a partner. You've excelled in all your lessons, whether that's music, or fencing sessions, or politics. Especially politics. Remember my face when you told me your father let you sit on a diplomatic session with a foreign ambassador? That's unheard of. It's only a couple years ago, and you went to so many after that, too. I couldn't be more proud. I've grown so much since then. When I think back on it, that was only a few months after I got assigned to you as personal guard. At the time, you built yourself a pretty nasty reputation with your previous guards and sword instructors. Finally forced your father to do something drastic. Make me your personal guard. Only a year older than you and far less experienced than most soldiers, but it all worked out, didn't it? You stopped acting out in your lessons, and I was able to do the job of protecting you and teaching you flawlessly. For the first 4 years, at least. It's probably a good thing those guys didn't come up here anyways. You would have ended up kicking their butts. Speaking of which, why did you choose me? Why was I the one to finally have the privilege of being your guard? Don't want to say? You know you're supposed to look at someone when they're talking to you. Fine, I'll quell my curiosity for now. What's that? Oh yeah, I'm guessing they were just some thugs the wizard paid off to scare any good Samaritans asking questions that came by. They didn't put up much of a fight when the first guy's head was rolling around on the floor. Yes, that is why we're not going down there right now. It's a bit of a mess. A princess like you shouldn't have to see a grisly sight like that. We'll just sit here and wait for the rest of our friends from the castle to get here. Then we roll out the red carpet to get you back home. Now the lack of sleep is really starting to hit me. A day and a half of riding really didn't help. Lay down on the bed? No, I couldn't, Princess. I have to keep my guard until the others arrive. I know you're not defenseless. Fine. You've convinced me. Just barricade the door with a chair. And here's my sword. You do remember how to use it, right? It might be a little heavy for you. Just joking. I suppose I'll try and rest for a little bit then. I can't sleep with just silence. You know, I've been wondering. I spend so much time with you, practically knowing you in and out. I'm curious how much you know about me. So now you're so interested in me. Okay, that's fair. I have kind of dismissed all your questions thus far. I suppose I'll give you a couple freebies this time. You have to guess, though. When did I join the program for the Knights? Nope. Incorrect. Well, you never asked. Okay, maybe you did, but I probably would have answered that one. Next question. When's my birthday? Wrong again. We'll do one more. Where was I born? Jeez. I really have done a good job of keeping you in the dark. Fine, you want to know? I'll tell you. Your half-delirious, sleep-deprived knight will finally tell you his tragic backstory. There isn't much to tell. My earliest memories are of me growing up in the castle. When I tried to ask about it, people would always shoo me away or avoid the question. Finally, when I cornered one of the oldest instructors when I was around 13 or 14, he told me I was dropped off here when I was a child. No mother, no father. Just an orphan dropped off at the castle. No exact place or date of birth. Taken in and raised to be another dog on the battlefield. For a while I felt as if I was wandering. He fed me well here and taught me what I thought was important, so I stayed. It wasn't until I got assigned to you it all just kind of clicked. Finally knew what I was put here to do, and that was to keep you safe. No matter how stubborn you originally were, I could see the kindness and traits of a fantastic leader. If I kept you safe, I knew you could make a whole lot of lives better, and that was enough for me. But something else happened. Something a little unexpected. On days that I had off, I would always head to the castle library and read books. Usually fairy tales, ones that a mother would read to her child. They would usually talk about true love. I suppose I romanticized it in my mind, but never thought it was real. I bet you can see where this is going. Just at least let me finish before you say anything. I fell in love with you. It wasn't sudden. It was after I realized what I felt my purpose was. Slowly, I saw how kind you were, caring, smart. I think it was the lessons, the swordplay lessons that really did me in. Seeing how determined you were. Sometimes you could even keep me on my toes, which was impressive. How you would laugh whenever I would trip or fall and you would claim your victory. It was the way I could see you, without all the makeup and the front of a princess, that made me really fall for you. It's been like that for years now. Every day growing deeper and deeper. Come on, you had to notice how often I'd ask about your suitors. I'm pretty sure my jealousy was unmatched. I was delighted when I heard that none of them were going well. I hate to say it. When you got that nickname, the Princess Without a Heart, I was ecstatic. This whole situation just made me realize it a whole lot faster. I thought you should know. You had a right to know. I am your knight after all. You don't have to respond or try to reciprocate my feelings. I just wanted to tell you. I wouldn't be able to live with myself if you were somehow hurt or harmed, and you never knew. You'd never be able to be at peace. You knew? This whole time you knew and you didn't say anything? I did try to make it obvious. Honestly, I'm glad you caught on. I guess that means you already have an answer, doesn't it? Go ahead. Might as well rip the bandage off fast, my princess. You feel the same? Why didn't you say something earlier? Dropping hints? Like what? Well, I suppose now that I look back on it, you may have been dropping hints. You do kind of throw yourself at me when we're apart for a little too long. makes it seem like we're more than friends. And there's our late night chats. Maybe you leaning in a little bit too much when we're talking. Okay, maybe it was kind of obvious. Well, that makes me feel a little better. Thank you. I'm excited to see where things go from here. Thank you for choosing me. Whether you like it or not, I'm devoting myself to protecting you from this point on, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I am yours. Well, we've been talking for a while. I think I hear the reinforcements. Let's get going for now. Let's keep this between us. I'm sure we'll get another chance to talk later tonight. But the king and queen are worried sick. Let's get you back home.